What was I doing back in the secret cafe? Which chemotherapy drugs am I on and why? What's all the confusion over the medications? And why wasn't I given Folfox last time? What? Come with me through the curtain of blurred colons and find out what's going on in my cancer story. Welcome to the Tumotastic Video Diary number 27. Hi, Scats here. I know who you are. It's Friday, June the 21st, and this is Video Diary number 27. On Wednesday, I stayed over at Chris's house again so he could get me to the hospital in Malaga early for the second out of 5 cycles of intravenous chemo treatment. So we had what's becoming a long-standing tradition now, a barbecue and a glass of wine. First thing yesterday then, we headed into the hospital and went for the 8:15 blood test. And like last time, that was at the maternity and children's hospital next door. Then, look, we headed to the side of the hospital and searched out the secret cafe again. There's Chris, already settled down. What's he doing in my diary? This time I thought, instead of recording the whole video in my studio, I'd give you a glimpse of the real world and record a bit of the diary in the cafe, just like Chris did here 3 weeks ago for his last podcast when he interviewed me. You should watch that. It was loads of fun. So let's do the swirly screen thing and head back to yesterday's diary. I love time travel. Come on, Freddie, you're going to have to come too. What are you doing? I don't like it. So here we are at the hospital. Found the secret cafe. I've had my blood test and we have sat down to an absolutely marvellous breakfast of, what did we have?
Yeah, it was a ham and cheese croissant, wasn't it?
Ham and cheese croissant. Yeah. Lovely. First thing I'm going to do, now that we've sat down, is rip off this band-aid from the blood test. It's always and there's 2 of them. Oh, there we go. Blood. And the mark. Well, there's a little bit of bruising this time, but never mind. No, she was quite good, this one. Today's nurse. Very professional. And I got it done in rapido time. Again, it was so fast that Chris didn't even have time to park up.
No, I parked up, checked my messages. In 16 minutes past 8, you were walking down here.
That was it. Yeah. Hobbling down with my walking cane. Well, it's not a walking cane, it's a crutch, isn't it? Not a crotch, it's a crutch. I have to make that clear every time I say it now for the rest of my life. Right, so I'm going to talk you through the medicines, the stuff I'm taking.
Tell me what your blood test says. They give you 2 hours before in it to get.
Yeah, it was 8:15, and they do it quick. They ask you on the reception, or when they're doing your blood, they're saying, "Is this for a quick one? Have you got a consult this morning?" So you say yes, and they put it through really quickly. So fabulous. So the first thing I will tell you is what I'm on for the IV chemo, which is what they're giving me today. So the first thing they do is give me an antiemetico intravenous 12-second burst of ondansetron. Yeah, that's the stops you feeling sick. And dexamethasone, which I think is the sugar solution, and chloruro sodico, which is sodium chloride. That's so you get salt and sugar. That's
like
fair enough. Saline drip, is it?
It's electrolytes, basically.
Electrolytes, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Salt and sugar. And then the perfusion intravenosa for 2 hours, it says on here. And this is the one from 3 weeks ago, by the way. I presume this is going to be the same. I'll report back in a minute once we've talked to the doctor, but it's oxaliplatina, 230.1 milligrams. That's very accurate. And glucosa, which is a separate bag, 5% glucose solution, 250 millilitres, that they give you afterwards. That's the IV drugs. The tablets that I take are on this one, capecitabina, 500 milligrams, and I have 4 in the morning and 3 in the evening. So that's like 1,500 milligrams in the evening, 2,000 milligrams in every morning, and you have to have them with food. So the tablets that I take, it's more of that ondansetron. That's what I said a minute ago, that they put in to stop me feeling sick, antiemetico. So I took them for 6 days last time, starting on the Friday,
Did they only give them to you for 6 days then?
No, well, they've given me 15 tablets. So those are the ones that I'm supposed to take. Oh no, those are the ones that she said definitely take those while you're feeling the worst symptoms in the first few days.
Did they write them for 6 days?
No, I've just written those to say what I did last time.
Oh, okay.
Based on the number of tablets that are left in the packet.
Right.
I thought, well, I've definitely had 6 of those. And I had 2 of the metoclopramide, 10 milligrams. They gave me 60 of those, and I only took them for 2 days because I think that was the Saturday and the Sunday when I felt the worst. And famotidine is the stomach settler, and I took those while I was taking the capecitabine tablets for the 14 days. So I've had 14 of those. They only gave me 28, so after this lot I'll have to have some more. So yeah, and also
your songs.
Yeah, let's see if I can make a song with all of these words. That'll be the best way for me to learn how to pronounce them. And I also take some paracetamol when required, and I have been taking that fairly regularly. I've been given some diarrhea tablets. I can't remember what that's called, but it's the standard sort of diarrhea tablet. But I haven't taken any of those, haven't needed any of those. And also for my ankle, I was taking prednisone in English, 30 milligram tablets, and I was taking one of them a day from the 12th up until yesterday on the 19th. I took a half because this is the stuff that can stop your chemochemicals in their tracks. So I didn't want to take one this morning. I've still got some swelling on my foot, so there you go. So I'm coping with that. I've had a paracetamol this morning, that's all. The other thing I've been taking as well is the tramadol chlorhydrato mixed with paracetamol tablets, and those are 37.5 milligrams tramadol and 325 milligrams paracetamol. The paracetamol tablets I've been taking have been the 650 milligrams. That's the ones on their own. So sometimes I've had an extra paracetamol with the paracetamol that's in with the tramadol, but that only makes 1 gram worth of paracetamol, which is a standard dose. So that's all okay. So that's all of the tablets that I've been taking. There was a point. No, there's never been a point when I've been taking all of those together.
Oof.
Yeah, wow. But I've been rattling this month, and I basically didn't get this week of freedom to run around and walk around that I could have had, because right at the end of the time when I was taking the 14 lots of chemo tablets in a row, that's when I got the...
How do you control it? Because I'm looking at this now and I'm like, what? So do you like have a calendar? I'd need like a spreadsheet or something.
That's why I started writing when I finished taking them and how many days I took them from.
Right,
I wasn't kind of taking notes.
Yeah.
But I've got all the tablets beside my bed. Good. And I've kind of remembered them off the top of my head so far.
It reminds me of those, the things you see in the Chinese shops, which have got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you put the tablets in for the days.
Oh yes, I should have one of them. That would make a lot of colour-coded stuff.
Because that's just, just remembering what they're for is confusing.
And I need to ask the doctor, because what I thought I was going to get was something called Folfox, which is, and this is for the IV chemo, Folfox is a combination of 3 different drugs, and oxaliplatino is one of them, and that's the Folfox name comes from the mixing together of the different letters of the 3 chemicals. So that's the ox is oxaliplatino. So that's so I thought I was getting Folfox, but on this first sheet that says what I had on the last IV, it says it was just oxaliplatino. So that's one of the questions I'm going to ask the doctor.
At the beginning, you thought you were going to be here more for more intravenous stuff, didn't you?
Well, no, I thought it was 1 intravenous every 3 weeks.
Oh, right, okay.
And then chemo tablets.
Right.
After 1 week, which didn't say, just coming back to take some chemo tablets didn't sound right. So I think that was a misunderstanding at the previous hospital.
Right.
There we go. So, and I want to ask her whether I can take any of the tramadol today, just to get rid of the rest of the pain on my foot. And is there any change this time? Because the other alternative is that they're giving me one of the Folfox drugs now and then adding another one onto this time, on this cycle, and then maybe adding the third one later on, so that they're just gradually building it up.
Right.
Don't know. Don't know whether that's the sort of thing they do or not. We'll ask the doctor about the blood test results, obviously, and whether there's anything else to report when we come back to the secret cafe. So go to the appointment in, what time is it now? Don't know.
In an hour.
In an hour.
So time for another orange juice, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. So we'll go with Ooh, I'm back in the studio. Don't ever do that again. Turns out I didn't record another bit after the consult. I'll tell you why. When we headed up to oncology, there was quite a long queue for reception and the waiting room was almost full. Chris told me to sit down in there instead of putting weight on my ankle. Very kind of him, as always. And he checked in for me. Then we waited and waited and waited and watched plenty of people go in who'd arrived after us. It was nearly midday by the time we went in, and I was knackered and falling asleep by then, so I wasn't in the best condition to ask questions. And that's why I didn't record any more video afterwards too. I love it when you have to wait. The stress makes me stronger. It was a male doctor this time. He spoke fairly good English and we had the usual chat about how it was all going and what I'd been like since the last consult. The blood test results were good, so he was happy to confirm the IV chemo would go ahead that day. Oh, bloody hell. We had a bit of confusion about the antiemetics, the anti-sickness drugs. He thought I'd got things the wrong way round and had taken too many days worth of one of them. So he put me right. I did check this morning actually, and it was me being half asleep. I'd been taking the right ones in the right order, but the ondansetron, I'd done too many days of it. My paperwork from the last consult had said 3 days, and I'd done 6 days of it for some reason. Well, that's how many tablets are gone from the packet anyway. He said actually I should just take it for 2 days after the IV, so that's different anyway. And the other one, metoclopramide, is only if I continue to feel nausea. Then if I'm vomiting, it's back to the ondansetron. I spent a little time writing it down properly and confirming it with him. Stop it with the poncy drug names. Have a bit of coke instead. The other question I had was about the IV chemo. I was told originally that the IV drugs were called Folfox, which is actually a combination of 3 drugs. But when I checked on the records of what I'd had last time, it was only one of the drugs. So the doctor explained that the 2 other drugs that usually make up the Folfox were together in the chemo tablets and called capecitabine. So when they told me last time they'd recently updated the method of giving the chemo, that's what they meant. It's the same chemicals, just a different way of getting it into me over a longer period. And they now call that Capox. So that's all much clearer. Clear as your rectum. Then I sat in the waiting room again while Chris braved the reception queue to get the paperwork for the next cycle, which will be on June the 11th. And then we went downstairs to the oncology day ward reception for the IV appointment time. It was 1:30 p.m, which was the same as last time. So it looked like we'd caught up with the lost time we'd spent waiting for the consult. Hooray! Oh, if only you knew what was going to happen next. The secret cafe closes at midday. So we went to the cafe inside the hospital. I had to have a sandwich because it was too early for the main meals, and I got some crisps and a little cake, which was neither good nor a good idea. Oh, and I had one of those mineral-rich, sugary, sporty drinks, so I was buzzing with glucose for a little while after that. Not good for the diabetes. Oh well. Chris got on with some paperwork on his laptop, and I read the Terry Pratchett book I'd brought for this time, now that I've finished Bill Anderson's first 2 political satire books. Then it was off back to the day ward. I was given a number and told to wait on the hard metal chairs in the hallway. Not comfortable at all. Chris carried on with some work and phone calls, and I waited and waited and waited again. Chris was getting loads more calls from the office, so we agreed he should go. I'd be fine. Yeah, you leave him all alone and sad and in pain. I waited and waited and waited some more. Then I checked they hadn't forgotten me and waited and waited and waited. It was after 4 o'clock by the time I stood up to make my presence known once again, and they waved me through and sat me down at last. The nurse was quite sympathetic to my annoyance at having to be painfully seated for so long. At least this chair was more comfortable, and he got me a cushion. Bless him. He and his colleague were really nice, actually. Ponce! So, same as last time, I got plugged in and 3 drip bags were set up, the antiemetics and whatever the other drug was in the first one. Actually, my son, who's just about to qualify as a nurse, said it was a steroid, which probably explains why my foot seemed to be a bit better afterwards. Bonus! Then the main glucose bag followed by the main chemo bag followed by the glucose pick-me-up to wash the chemo through. All in all, getting on for 3 hours worth, including unhooking me and waiting to see if I was still alive. I'm feeling woozy. What are you doing to me? Oh, and I'd taken some more of the tramadol after questioning the doctor that it was okay. That helped make me a bit drowsy, so after delving into Terry Pratchett's Discworld again, I drifted off to sleep. I'd kept in touch with my lovely Lyft driver throughout the day to update him, so here's my last bit of hospital film of me following his Google map pin round to the front of the hospital to find, surprise, surprise, a Porsche 911 Cabriolet with the roof down. So the drive home was awesome. I immediately put on my sunglasses to look the part and had a good chat with my I'll call him my anonymous driver. He knows who he is. Good man yourself. Poncy, Poncy, Ponce. I'd missed the England football game at the Euros, but that was probably best anyway. By all accounts, they weren't at their best, to say the least, and that would have been way too stressful for me. I'm not really a regular football fan. I just watch parts of the biggest of shows, the Euros and the World Cup. I did manage to catch the second half of the Spain game though, which was much more fun. They're excellent. They're not the favourites by any means, but if they carry on the way they're playing, they've got as good a chance as anyone, really. They beat Italy, the reigning champions. So, Spain are my home team now, so I'll be just as happy with them winning as if England won, if not more. England! Tell you what, I had trouble talking yesterday evening, and you can probably hear a bit of roughness developing in my throat as I go on. It was partly like hay fever, and I did have itchy eyes too, and a little bit now, but also it's a bit like the feeling I got last time when I'd had a cold drink, or stupidly some ice cream after I'd been specifically told to stay away from really cold foods. And again, when I took off my socks at bedtime last night and put them on the cold tiled floor, it was like that, standing on very cold needles. And since then, both my feet and my fingers have had some pins and needles, and typing up these diary notes has been a bit ouchy. It's a weird feeling, but it's bearable, you know. I hope it doesn't get too much worse, though. I'm definitely staying away from ice cream this time. I've just had some scrambled eggs for my lunch and picked up the milk bottle out of the fridge, and I went, ah! Oh, the pain, the pain. I checked my temperature this morning. I'm going to monitor it well this time, because I did overheat a bit at this time, well, in the evening actually, of the Friday last week, and I had to go to A&E, if you remember. It was okay, 37 in one ear and 37.4 in the other, which is kind of normal, apparently. Liz said that meant I've got a cool side to my brain. The voice is really going now. I've got a cool side to my brain, which is totally cool, man. I can't remember which side it was. It's either my creative side or the other one. I'll let you know next time. Nothing about you is cool. Anyway, happy solstice, everyone. I nearly forgot. It's the longest day. It would have been nicer if this first few days after the treatment were the shortest days, then it might go by quicker. But it can't be helped. I'm fairly lively today. I've sorted out my medical file and done some admin as well to prepare for a few days when I won't be able to do anything at all. I'm already quite tired and floppy and achy though. I have the live show tomorrow, so that could be interesting. See if I can get my voice through that one. Last time I had a small coffee to get me through and then collapsed on the settee, feeling awful. Then I tried the THC oil in the evening to make it all easier. I think I'll have that immediately after the show this time to ease me through the worst of it. Or maybe before the show. See if you can tell. What about my symptoms? I feel like I'm slipping away. Mummy? Is that you? So there you go. I'll tell you next week how it's all going. Thank you so much for continuing to follow my story and sending messages of support. Do please share the video with your friends and see if they like it too. That would be lovely. Tune in next Friday for another thrilling episode of Feck Off Freddy. So rag. Keep your fingers and your toes crossed, you lovely people, and as always, raise your drinking receptacles with me, still alive. And of course, let's do the cancer dance.